Yeah. I think people are joining the meeting.
Yeah,
Uh,
Prof.
I think,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon
I know you
from
are in the
here.
afternoon over there.
It's 4:30 p.m. here in
Yes.
Abuja.
Wow.
Mm.
Guys are
All
way
right,
ahead
thank
of us.
you. Yes. So we wait for others to join us.
Yes, we are waiting
Mm.
a little bit more for people
Yeah,
to join.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Prof. Elijah, you're muted.
Hello, Prof.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Hey, Chingu. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How about you?
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay, great, great. That's wonderful.
In fact, I told you the other time that unfortunately this meeting coincides with our Senate meeting.
Oh, yes.
I have to check out of the chamber now just to do something out.
Yeah.
Okay, don't let us not get you into trouble.
So I will just think that I may not be able to say anything when I get inside now. So
Okay.
that's just it. And if they're able to take time, then I can now make my own contribution. Thanks so much.
Yeah, Prof, thank
Uh,
you. Thank you for your intention. Thank you so much. And yeah, that is what we need here. We need the energy. And yeah, we can just get started on that note. And thank you all for joining us again for this wonderful episode of CONGA. This is another series, the 12th series of CONGA meeting, the first in this year, 2025. We're excited to be here because we have a mission at hand. We have some goals to meet, and we are all fired up to achieve those goals. But let's get started let me share my screen. I welcome everybody. It's been a while. A lot of things have been developing while we are away, and that's what we expect anyway. So we want to um, give us a little bit of what has been happening. Let me see. Can everyone see my screen? Dr. Shigo?
yes.
Yes, good. Thank you. Can help me with that. So that everybody on muting.
Sorry. Yeah.
So today is a wonderful day, and it's nice to be here again with the Conga people. It's a wonderful project that we have at hand, and we're excited to get it done. So we are going to start by introducing kind of all the things that we do and what has been done, what is remaining, what is the future, what does the future holds. And if you remember, we submitted the DASI track one proposal on this. we have information about that. We have information about, Dr. Shigo is going to give us a nutshell of CONGA idea, and it's part and parcel of the CONGA organizers, and he has been helping us a lot. So he's going to give us a nutshell of what the idea is all about. And just to remind us anyway, so we have a lot of things about way forward. We are open to discussions. So this is all about discussions. So feel free to talk about what you think and what you think is the best way to move forward. So, and then Dr. Lamarche Dr. Lamarche is my manager here, and she's going to also talk about what we are thinking about concerning educational kits. So it's a new thing that we want to introduce and want to see how people are excited about it, or if it makes sense at all. So Dr. Lamarche is going to talk about that, and then the current and future funding, we're going to also open that to discussion and what we can do to get funding. We're going to talk about some good news, because now we have something to point, or let me say, in the coming days or coming months, we're going to have something to point to as CONGA, and then that can be uh, expanded on, to the development aspect of it, which is the big deal. So, and that is why we are all here, to make sure that happen. And then we have the Decadal Survey, and that is also something big, because we we see that CONGA white paper actually contribute to that, and that is good news. So in order to let's just get started. Let me see. I think I have Dr. Shigo as the next person to talk here. So Dr. Shigo is going to give us some things that we all need to hear. Dr. Shigo, you have the floor.
Okay. I'll use your slides for this, so
Okay.
you can scroll to next. I think you can just populate the whole of it. All right. So thank you very much. And thanks for everyone coming to the meeting today. And this being the very first meeting of the year, so Happy New Year to everybody. And looking forward to a prosperous and fruitful 2025, right? So as I've been introduced, I'm Chigo Ngwira. I'm a research scientist at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C., but I'm also a government contractor at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. So let's talk about the CONGA project. So the whole idea of CONGA came about because of the problem of having very few instrumentation in Africa. Particularly, we're talking about the equatorial region in Africa. And you know that Africa has the largest land mass when it comes to the coverage over the equatorial region. But sadly, in terms of instrumentation, that's the place with the least amount of instrumentation. And of course, there's so many different problems. Like issues that pertain to why there's no instrumentation in Africa. But one of them is just the availability of that funding to put up those instruments. So CONGA is going to help us in terms of fulfilling or getting rid of this problem of few instrumentation by making available continuous measurements in real time of the GPS tech over the equatorial region in Africa. Now, having said that, then what science will this allow us to do? So the science that will allow us to do, one of the things is, first of all, is going to strengthen our understanding of space weather over the equatorial regions. So you may know that Africa has some kind of unique properties when it comes to the behavior of the equatorial region. And there's a few papers out there that talk about this uniqueness in the ionospheric region over Africa. So if we can have more instruments over that region, then we can be able to dive deeper into knowing what these unique conditions are and what is bringing them to light. So that's what this will help us. But also the science that we will enable to do with the instrumentation will be one, looking at the equatorial ionization anomaly. Then we'll also be able to look at plasma bubbles, scintillation, traveling ionospheric disturbances. And the idea also is that these instruments can be used to study like waves, atmospheric waves and tide over the same region. So improvement in our understanding also leads to improvement in terms of being able to provide information for the modeling aspect. So we can thereon later improve our modeling aspect of this. And then also for research scientists, there's also a possibility, it's not just space weather that can be studied from the instrumentation, but it will also provide data for people who are interested in geolocation and then other scientific studies as well. That may include maybe climate change, geology, and also environmental monitoring. So there is additional benefit other than just the space science side of it. So what's the goal then? The goal is to build a network. Of course, we want it to be inexpensive, so it's low cost instrumentation to be able to cover most of the equatorial region. And this will be through the provision of these GPS tech monitoring stations. Now, of course, the idea is that this should be real time, and how possible that will probably be determined by from location to location. But it is possible that we can have a continuous GPS, real-time GPS network. And then obviously we want to deploy instruments that will be robust, standalone, and can easily, if need be, can easily be swapped out for other instrumentation. And of course, being able to cover, bring up this global coverage because of completion over the African region. Now, what's the approach to all this? Of course, creating an instrumentation network that will be, of course, on a large scale. So because of the low cost nature of the instruments that are being planned for, they can be distributed on a larger scale because of the cost expenses being lower. And then obviously deployment in the field will be minimum effect. So building something that you can just go and stick there, come back, and it's done. You start taking your measurements. But of course, the measurements have to be reliable for us to be able to do the science that we need to do from this instrumentation. And I think in terms of the why, this is something which obviously most of us appreciate, from the science perspective. We want to understand the science, what is driving the different things that we're seeing in the equatorial region. But then also we do appreciate that, space or the atmosphere above has impact on radio waves. So the propagation aspect is one of the critical components in terms of the impact of space weather. And so that will be enabled by bringing up the CONGA network. It will help us in terms of studying the ionosphere and what the impact on the radio waves would be. And of course, in doing this is going to help us, one, by having the data and improving our understanding. We can then improve the forecasting, prediction of ionospheric disturbances over the equatorial region. So I think you can move to the next slide. So here is a slide to the left. We're just showing what is currently available, which is that there's very little instrumentation in terms of GPS monitors out there in Africa. And then to the right is the vision of CONGA, which when accomplished, will provide all these great instruments around the equatorial region, which will enable us to do the science that we are talking about here. So I think I'll end here and hand over back to Dr. Olu Jonah.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shigo. This is wonderful. One thing that keeps me on my feet with Conga is that it's a kind of a starting point for Africa at large. So imagine if you are able to coordinate and make this happen. We have all these locations and we put instrument there. Other instruments like magnetometers, they can also be co-located. And that is something significant. So we should, keep the energy flowing. And thank you again, Dr. Shigo. This is wonderful. So yeah. So, we in the past months, particularly in 2024, we submitted a proposal and we waited for for 6 months or more, let me say 1 year to have this result. And we have the result. It's not all that we want that are in the result, but one thing that I see that the reviewers, they actually emphasize on the importance of the project. They acknowledge that, Conga is a motivated network that can help to fill the gap over Africa in terms of ground-based instrumentation. And that is what Dr. Chigo just highlighted. And some of these are the outcome from the reviewer that shows the strength of the project. And we have multiple, I just make summary here about the strengths. And just to let you know that the project was not approved at this time, but what we actually asked from DASI is that we want to develop develop the instrument and test it, not the deployment in itself. So that is not totally sad news or something. This is just the beginning. And if we are not able to do that with DASI, we already have SRI higher ed program that we do internally. And I will show us some of these things that we have done. And that is the good new aspect of it. But we have, we also have the reviewers showing some weakness of the project. And that is why it is important to actually give a try at this time to see where we can improve on and move forward in case we want to submit another project or proposal. I mean, this proposal for the next funding. So the funding from DASI 1 is about developing an instrument. And now we have an instrument, or an instrument is going to show up very soon, which we are working on. It's going to be pointed to at some point. So what we will be focusing now is deployment. And deployment, we will involve everybody. So one of the weaknesses is that we need the concentration of student involvement, more concentration of student involvement. So maybe we have not been able to point out to the reviewer what we are doing about students. And that is why this kind of meeting is essential. Student involvement is not a problem with us because we have a lot of lecturers attending this meeting. Lot of lecturers from Africa attending these meetings, and they have students that can work on these projects. So that will not be a problem. We are going to discuss it at some points. So another weakness that is pointed out is the describe a broader use of the data. And that is also not a problem. Maybe the way we related to them was not sounding well to them. So we have a lot of people, if you remember at the beginning of this idea, we sent out a Google form that shows that it's made up of people that are subscribed to this mission. So a lot of people, even from outside this field, our own field, they showed interest. So that is not anything to worry about. So another one here is the how will the project benefit the United States community? So that is important. So we did not actually emphasize on that as well in this proposal that we submitted. So that's fine because we have it already. We have a lot of collaborators from the US. We know how US can benefit from this. And we have subcontractors from the US as well. So we are, for the last proposal that was submitted to DASI, we did not include any subcontractor. So that is why it is a limited funding that we have. So if we are adding a subcontractor, that will be reducing or will not allow us to qualify for that type of funding. So there are so many complications in that regards, but that can be resolved in the future when we have a bigger funding. Now, the last one here is the contingent plan that provide the design plan for the African region, for example, power, and all of these are tackled or will be tackled in the future proposal because we are working on them. And this meeting is one of the way that we can actually use to tackle this because we have a lot of people that are living in different areas that we are proposing this project to on this meeting, and they can give us what we can do. And besides that, for example, the power aspect, power supply aspect, we have a solution for that already. The internet aspect, we have a solution for that already. And the theft aspect could be figured out. So, and with your suggestions and other things, we will be able to write a better and improved proposal the next time. And that is not the same proposal. It's a different proposal which will involve subcontractors. At this time, for example, Dr. Professor Babatunde will be involved. Other people from the US universities will be involved because this is a bigger project that involve deployment. And everyone in this meeting will be involved as well. So that is this, but there are good news as well. See, the good news I'm talking about is the high rate, CONGA high rate. So the SRI International, where I work, we have an internal program that allow us to bring promising projects to the table, and they will fund it. So CONGA was brought to the table of higher ed, and it was funded, at least for a small size CONGA. So in the coming days, months, we are going to be having a device that is CONGA in nature that we can point to when we are writing another proposal. It's going to be tested, and we can say this is the instruments, and we want to have multiple of these instruments to be deployed. So that is the good news here. And you can see this is an example of this. And Engineer Paul is working on this right now, and this is just a kind of sample that he provided to us last time we met. So a lot of things are here that are going to be situated in that box that you see on the left side. So we're going to be having a unit that looks like this on the left in the coming months or days or months. And so I will stop here a little bit, and then I will allow Dr. Lamarche to talk about the additional kits that we are thinking and hopeful that it could be beneficial to the society or to this community as well. So Dr. Lamarche, if you are here, you can take the floor.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Why don't you just click through the whole slide so we can see it all? So this is yeah. Thanks. Thanks, hello. This is kind of a looking way into the future part of this project. So once we hopefully have a network and it's working, how do we maximize the scientific output of it, and how do we maximize the really enable the community and students and others to be able to use that network to its fullest extent? So we started thinking about what kind of educational materials could go along with this project, especially in its final form, and what would be helpful for it. And we came up with a concept of kind of creating different modules that would cover different aspects of it, both from the kind of engineering and basic and what ionospheric radio waves do, but also down to specific ionospheric and atmospheric phenomena that can be investigated with this kind of network. And so this is very very hypothetical, I suppose, at this point. But we are starting to put some thought into, after we hopefully get everything built and deployed and as a real thing, well, what then? And I think that's an important thing to actually think about at this early stage, because it does impact, or it can, first of all, as we're building and deploying things, it's important to kind of get these things out so that people can start using it right away, that there's not a delay, and that students and whatnot can use our newest best instruments as soon as possible. And also it just does make sense to think about the eventual use and the user community while we're making and designing the system. So again, this is all very extremely preliminary, but everyone kind of wanted to throw this out there as to thoughts of different types of things that we could do from the educational standpoint, so that this community, because I know there are a lot of students, a lot of professors in this meeting, we'd love to hear your thoughts as to what you think would be helpful or important or not important or anything like that.
Okay. Are you done?
Oh yeah. Sorry, you can.
Yeah. All right. So
yeah, you can go through the specific modules if you'd like, Olu, but
yes.
That's the general concept of.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the general concept. And why we are doing this is, if you remember, we have different people coming to talk about different projects they are doing that relates to CONGA in one way or the other. And we thought about, okay, there could be another approach. That is fine, and we are going to maintain that. But there could be another approach that is specific, right? We could organize a kind of educational kits that has all of these quad charts, and it make us more focused, and students are more benefited in that regards. So, and this is just the first of could be a 6-month program that we could venture into, and we would follow a specific direction, and we invite people, or we do the lecturing, maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour kind of lecture, to get students engage, to allow them to understand what these instruments can be used for and things like that. So it's more or less related to what we have been doing, but this is more specific. And if you have any idea, you can talk about it here. We have, and we don't usually want to take your time. You put 1 hour bar to this meeting, but we still have 30 minutes, and you can stop me to raise a point, and yeah. So anyway, so that is what this idea is all about, and it we will bring it up again in the future meeting to see how possible this can be run. And then, this is a part of the solution, but we have other solutions. So there are some solutions, looking at the Decadal Survey that we talked about. If you don't know about the Decadal Survey, it's a kind of book that guides the award of proposals through like 10 years period. And group of scientists have come together with the biggest ideas out there and put them together in a book, or document them in one book, so that people that have some ideas can refer to that kind of book when they are asking for funding. So during the period where this book was being written, CONGA has already started at that point. So we also have a white paper. The white paper is what is an input into this book. So different kind of scientists from different area will write what they think is a big idea, and they will submit that, and the reviewer and the editor of this book will sit down and see which one is more important, and they will include that and more in that book, which is called Decadal Survey. So the CONGA white paper, when we went through the Decadal Survey, we found out that it was very instrumental. And that is one contribution that all of us here has made. So that's something to talk about. And I was going through this book yesterday, just flipping through. I have not really sit down to look at it, honestly. So we have different pages that actually talked about GNSS ground base, or distributed array of GNSS ground base receivers. And that is what we discussed in the CONGA white paper. So if you have the book, and you can as well download this book online. Let me know if you need the link. I can send it to you. It's free to download. I think I downloaded my free. So you can do yours. You can download yours as well for free. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 10 places where distributed array of ground-based GNSS receiver were mentioned. So that is good. And in the future, when we need to write proposal, when we need to write the deployment proposal, we will now be able to refer to any of these or multiple of these pages. And that is what is, that shows that this current effort is what the community needs. It's top of the community needs. And that is why it's in the Decadal Survey, not on just one page or multiple pages. So that is good news. Now, moving forward, we also have, remember, you can stop me to have a discussion. Just, this is a discussion mode, and you feel free to raise a point or ask a question, and that's fine. So there are few US CEDA people in CONGA meeting. That is a concern that we have. And the point that Okay, Prof. Prof has a question or comment or contribution.
Thank you very much. Mine is an input, so thank you very much, Dr. Jonah, for bringing us together, and to Dr. Leslie, others. Thanks so much for this great work. I'm excited about the educational kits, and it would be nice at this point also, while you are developing the kit, to ask for people to join in developing the kits, as it's looking at those 6 modules, so that we can look at the modules, and if these modules will be used, are going to be used in Africa, then it will be very nice to have. I could see that we have people here. We have Professor Yeyemi and some other people on board here that have actually taught in Africa for more than 20 years in the university. So we can also make our inputs into the different modules, and we can even begin to do a trial. We can begin to use some of the modules as a trial purpose with some of our students before we go fully into it. That is, and to check also to maybe there will be room for improvement, and with time we can have feedback. And so this is my view. For me, it's a very good idea, and there are also, because there are courses that are being taught already, and we can bring this in. And this module that we're looking at, that means it will be targeted towards the graduate students per se, graduate students with minimal level of maybe first degree, or maybe we can also make it clear that some final year students can join. That is final year in the university of bachelor can also join in the training, but we do invite them to some of the work schools that we organize, so that we can be able to catch them before they graduate. All right, so these are just I want to campaign for inclusion, and people can volunteer their time and logistics to make inputs in the module too. So it's a very brilliant idea, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that contribution. And that is really what we want. That is exactly what we are thinking when we brought up this educational kits, that all of us can contribute in a way that we help the students. And once we do that, we are actually preparing the basis for CONGA to prosper. You know, Professor Rabiu knows more than I do in terms of how instrumentation deployment has failed in the continent Africa. And we want to start with the basis and push forward. When we do that, we are preparing to succeed. And that is what we are doing here. And that's all of these introductions here and there is going to help us to achieve that. So thank you very much, Professor Rabi. Thank you so much. So the next thing here we have here is the CIDA. So here it's the trouble that we have with the reviewer, one of the comments, and these are not comment that will not make a project to be approved. They are just things that we should take seriously. So I was thinking that how can we involve the CIDA people, probably even the NSF people, to join us in this meeting if they have whenever they are free to join us. One of the ways that I have thought about that is maybe announcing the meeting on LinkedIn and other places that we think it's possible to do that. So open contribution or suggestions for that as well. Then we have the reframe of the presentation for the proposal. So while I was talking about the proposal, I was thinking, all of the things that the reviewers were worried about, we have them already. I mentioned 3 or 4 points that they raised that we already have. Maybe next time we have to do a kind of what they are thinking and put our presentation, frame our presentation or our proposal in such a manner. But the point here is that we are not submitting to the DASI one again, because this is above DASI one now. It's beyond DASI one with into the MRI standard. So while we are preparing the MRI proposal submission, we have all of these things on our mind. Now, engaging more with the program manager, this is part of the solutions. When the program manager, I think this is related to the point where the CEDA people are also not engaged. So the program manager, some of us that are key organizers or key contributors in this, we will engage program managers. Most of us, we know them, and it is easy for us to engage with them. And once they know that something like that is in the pipeline, they already have awareness, and that helps every time. Now, instead of having test sites, okay, so this is actually what we were discussing in the internal discussion. Maybe that is not necessary here. Find an appropriate funding opportunity for this mix. Okay, engineering deployment. Okay, so yeah, appropriate funding opportunity is what we always discuss. Appropriate funding opportunity. What we know as appropriate funding opportunity now is the MRI. There are other ones that could be suggested, like the DAPA, like the Air Force, but the MRI seems to be the top of the list right now. But we are open to any other uh, possible funding agency. So the in the last proposal, we include different sites in the US at different locations. For example, we have 2 locations in the West and 1 location in the East. We have 1 in Florida, 1 in Texas. So this was to test the unit before deployment to Africa. So, and I think the reviewer was worried about that in one way or the other, but now we are looking at the possible test site to be in one place. So the kind of location that we could use, probably not Alaska, but because Alaska does not have the same weather that Africa equatorial region has. So we could not really suggest Alaska, but if we are looking at the bigger picture, we could suggest Alaska because we were able to actually do more than testing the instrument in itself. We are testing the connectivity, the network, everything that has to do to make the project succeed. So if we are having a distribution in North Alaska, because Macron is a project that was handled by Dr. T. Acosta, and that has already populated the south of Alaska. So the north of Alaska is still lagging, and a lot of similarities are there between Alaska and part of Africa, because in that north of Alaska, you have lack of maybe electricity or no location or open location and things like that. So we are able to tackle all of those issues as well. So this is a kind of bringing the agency, funding agency, to in our team, to bring them to our own team. And once they get to understand this, we can now say, oh, this is the location that is made for, really. So we are bringing up different ideas. So it's open. If you have any contribution or any suggestions from what I've been talking about, please feel free to talk about it. And yes, let me see. We have 2 more slides to go with presentation, but I will open the floor for us, and then I will come back to my presentation in a short while. Do we have any other contributions? Let me see. Hands. Let me stop sharing your bits. Any hands raised here? I see Brunava here. I think Bruno is very knowledgeable about what we are talking about as well. So feel free to talk if this is your time to make comments. We have 15 more minutes to go. And if you have anything you want to point our attention to, let us know. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, sorry. I just figured out how to raise my hand. So, one additional thing that I think we've discussed is trying to be more engaged and connected to other groups working on distributed arrays of GNSS receivers. So there's a variety of efforts both in the US and internationally. And I think we are going, and we've actually had some of them present in these meetings. But yeah, moving forward, that's one thing I think we also want to work on to establish those connections, relationships more.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was yes, I had to mute the person. So thank you, Dr. Leslie. This is that's I wasn't really listening because of that hiccups, but thank you. I think somebody listened, and so I also wanted to thank everybody. Let me see. This is a lot of list of people that contributed to our Google form. We have some of them are presented in this meeting. You see, the list is long, and these are people that are interested in this project. So we can do better to make everyone. We know we cannot bring everybody to one meeting. It's not possible because of the time, and so right now we are prioritizing people from Africa. We want to make sure that the time zone is convenient for them. People in the East is in the morning, but people in Japan, for example, it's no go area. They are sleeping right now. So, it's not possible. So, but we have this support. That's interesting to know. And we should leverage as much as we can on all of these supports. So thank you all for all what you do. And whenever we call upon you, we know that you will be able to assist in doing something good for all of us. And one last thing I want to comment on is our new channel. We have a YouTube channel that we have opened for us in order for some of these meetings, because people keep asking me how can I get the recording of the meeting and things like that. So it's getting bigger in my storage, and we wanted to have a place to put so that people can access easily. So when you subscribe to the channel, you can all it's a private channel. It's not. I think it's known to only people that maybe in this list. People that are in this list only known to them, except they share it. You are free to share it, no problem, but it is not public. Yeah, because this is for a purpose. It is for now, except the people want it to be public. But for now, we are keeping it private, and this purpose is to give access to whoever wants to have access. So that is my final slides, and we can go back to the discussion if anybody wants to have any discussions. One of the things that we can talk about is um, uh, let me see here how we can, maybe the time is convenient or the time is not convenient. I mean, the time for this meeting, I was, yeah, nobody knows anything about funding. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, the time is hard because it's a global thing and time zones. The other thing that I think we had wanted to bring up as an open topic is as we move forward with these monthly meetings, which I think have been very valuable, what do what does everyone here want to see in them? Do you, so we've just, would you like to see more science presentations? Would you like to see more opportunities for students to give short presentations? Yeah, anything like that. I think we've Olu has done a very good job. You've done a very good job putting together a bit of a grassroots effort that cover a lot of things, but we do want some, if there are ideas or suggestions or requests, we'd certainly like to hear them for how we spend the time here.
Yes. Yeah, we can do that in the next 9 minutes. Give us suggestions and we will put them down. And if we can incorporate them, we'll do for sure.
Or I think you will accept over email at any time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's a slow day for people. It's okay.
Yeah.
That happens.
But any questions regarding, okay, I think Angelina want to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I would be interested in more research presentations from people, especially from students.
Okay.
It would be helpful to have an idea of what's going on in each of the research groups. And I think that could help build collaborations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. That is fantastic. So part of the advantage of putting instrument over the region is collaborations, and scientists from different continents of the world can collaborate. And we can start that from here. Maybe when you have a project, you can send us email that you want to um, talk about what you are doing. Be sure that you have very reasonable contributions from this platform, and you can go back and do so many things more on your project or start making publications. So for students, this is a wonderful platform. You can invite your friends as well, particularly people that are in that region or outside, no problem. Invite your friends and give your presentation. Lecturers and researchers as well can do the same. So yeah, it's an open platform, and that's gonna help us a lot. Thanks, Angelina. And what other contributions? I know Olufisayo is here. He's a student in Virginia Tech. He's an African student, and he knows what I'm talking about. You can also present your work. Just email me, okay? And I'll put that on the list. I'm also always talking to people that I know that can contribute on the platform. So if you want to present maybe next month, you have to maybe give me 2 months before or thereabout, so that I can fix you at the right time. Adeniro is here. He's my student from Brazil. And one of these days, when he's just starting his PhD, so when he's on top of his plan, I will surely allow or give him the privilege to talk to us about what he's doing as well. So if you are a student, inform your other students, and you can also take advantage of the platform.
We can also do, a couple shorter presentations within one of these. So please don't anyone feel like they need to have an hour-long presentation to
No,
put forward. Yeah, we can certainly do a 15 minutes or
Yeah.
a few of them if that's more manageable.
Yes. Yeah, so presentation is like 15 to 30 minutes because we normally want to discuss. So what we are doing on the project, where we are, those are the updates. We want to bring the update to the community every time. So we have a lot of important people here that are listening, and those updates are very crucial. So that's it. And when we ask for presentation, it may not take the whole hour, but if the presentation is interesting enough and it spike up discussions, so that's part of it. So be it. And yeah, any other comments? Okay, I think we can, let me see, comment on the list here. Is there anyone? Okay. Thank you, Abtamu Alemu. There's a comment there by Abtamu. Abtamu. Abtamu, are you here?
Yes, sir.
I,
Yes.
which country are you from?
Uh, I'm originally from Ethiopia, but now I'm a postdoc in Czech Republic.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for your wonderful comments. We appreciate those.
Oh,
Yeah, thank
my
you.
pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Mm, any other comments? We have 3 minutes to go. Short comments. Yeah, we don't have to wait until the whole time is gone, but if there is no comment, we are free to go. Thank you all for coming, and we appreciate your presence and your time. And the next meeting is going to be last Wednesday of March, by God's grace, and we will come with more updates. And probably we have instrument to point to that is CONGA high and that is going to be wonderful. So yeah, and then we can start thinking about the deployment, which every one of us here is going to be a big part of. So thank you again, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Here.
Rabbi is there. Thank you. Yes, he just left. Thank you, Professor Olu Jacob, sir. Bye bye. Okay, then finished. Yes.
Right.